If you're thinking about making the move to the Charlotte, North Carolina area and you're looking for a place that has a little more space, highly rated schools, and that mix of historic charm and new developments popping up, Concord may be the right fit for you. So today we're talking about Concord, North Carolina, and the mix of the newer developments around the Cox Mill area, the new developments popping up, as well as the historic areas around the historic downtown. And of course, we wouldn't want to miss talking about the NASCAR events that go on in the area. And finally, of course, we're going to talk about the real estate market to compare the Concord area and the greater Charlotte area as a whole. A quick timeout. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything going on in the Charlotte, North Carolina areas just like Concord, make sure to reach out. I'm Steve Jarrell with the Longleaf Group here in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, and I would love to help you whether you're looking to make the move the next 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months. Let's jump on a Zoom. There's a link there. You can get all of our information as well as schedule your own meeting that we can chat. So make sure to do that. With all that said, let's jump back in and learn more about Concord. Well, Concord is about 20 minutes northeast of the greater Charlotte area, which is about 25 to 40 minutes drive to get to Uptown, really depending on what part of Concord you're living in. Concord it's right in the Cabarrus County area, which is home to a little over 100,000 residents in the Concord area, which is the second largest city in the metro Charlotte area and also one of the fastest growing. Historically, Concord grew up as a cotton and textile mill industry and really became the center a lot of that textile industry and the center of that, especially in the greater Charlotte area. So you see a lot of that mill history. It's all preserved in the area, whether it's the Gibson Mill, that revitalized center that's turned into breweries, restaurants, things to do. And then just the naming of a lot of the areas in the Concord area, whether it's the Concord Mills Mall, you've got Cox Mill, schools, and it's just throughout there that really using that naming of its history to preserve the history of the mill and textiles. Let's talk about the two sides of Concord, the newer development, newer area, part of the Concord greater area, and the historic core of Concord. First, to start off, the newer developments you really see in that Cox Mills area, which is just outside of 485, the greater Charlotte core area, just west of 85, I-85. So you're just minutes really getting to within the greater Charlotte area, obviously closer to Uptown. But if you can picture new developments, newer schools like Cox Mills High School and some of the other highly rated schools. If you go to greatschools.org, you'll see some high test scores and things that are very attractive for those that schools and young children are going to play into. So you have that core there for the new development, the shopping. Concord Mills Mall is right there as well, and some of the newer shopping and amenities in that southwest part of the Concord area. So while this part of Concord feels much more like the modern suburb, you have the other part of Concord, which is the historic part with more established neighborhoods, tree-lined streets, newly revitalized downtown area with its historic charm and more, like I said, established homes as opposed to the newer homes that are popping up in the Cox Mill area, or I should say just that southwest part of Concord. So while the newer area is going to get the hype for all the new things popping up, the downtown area has a few highlights that I really can appreciate, which is that revitalized downtown area. You have a newer streetscape. You have a few areas like Union Street with its historic Main Street area, local shops, galleries, restaurants. you have the historic Cabarrus County Courthouse, which is now home to the Cabarrus Art Council and Davis Theater. And it's right there on the main plaza. And it has, within the downtown area, you have newer social districts, which is really encouraging the residents to take part in the downtown area. So a lot going on in this area. The charm, the trade-off is it's a little farther out from the greater Charlotte area, but the trade-off obviously comes with some of the charm and some more reasonable pricing, which we'll talk about. The farther out you get into Cabarrus County, the more affordable the pricing of homes can be. I would definitely be in trouble if I did not mention the Gibson Mill area. If you're living in the Concord area, or if you're just visiting, this is an area that is really gained popularity. It's a cool area with some revitalizing of the area, including the Gibson Mill Market, with food hall, multiple eateries. You have the lifestyle with actually a couple new breweries that have popped up. I don't know if I call them newer, but they're actually really popular, both Cabarrus Brewing as well as High Branch Brewing, which have live events, music, everything you can expect from a really established brewery, and all the things going on there other than just brewing beer. They have the events there. And finally, there in the Gibson Mill, which happens to be one of the largest antique shopping areas in the South, which is, if that's something that's of interest to you, this is the best place to go for it. But the Gibson Mill and really that historic area, revitalized downtown, is really cool and popular for residents. In a couple other areas that Concord is maybe not as well known for, but actually has a really good vibe going on with the parks that are in the area. Frank Liske, I've heard I couldn't call Frank Liske, but it's about a 10-mile park that actually encompasses a variety of events that go on throughout the year. I actually go there for a congenital heart walk that raises money for congenital awareness and for our son as a heart condition. But there in that park, they have a huge festival every year, and that's just one of the many that goes on. There's Vietnam Veterans Park, and even just with things to do, obviously not far from the parks in the area. You're right there in the center of motorsports, capital of the world, with NASCAR, with other events that take place within that outdoor camping world environment, which draws people from all over if you're an outdoor enthusiast. So a lot of outdoor, doesn't get as much hype as some of the other areas as far as the outdoors, but a ton of things available for the outdoor enthusiast, including parks and obviously that motorsports camping environment that's right in Concord. And what everybody's always interested when they're looking to relocate or just make a move to a new area is, what's the real estate market like and how do prices compare? In this case, let's compare the greater Charlotte area, even the newer part of Concord, to the historic area. As a greater Charlotte area, the price of homes have actually decreased. Good news for buyers, about 1.6 to 1.7%. In the Concord area, it's actually decreased closer to 2%, and historic area about 2.5%. So we've seen a depreciation of homes, which a lot of that has to do with the macroeconomics of really real estate in general. So these prices actually held strong overall, but you're going to see more of a opportunity for pricing as you get closer to the downtown area, or I should say the historic downtown Concord area. Prices overall, you're actually looking at closer to $400,000 in the Charlotte area, that greater Charlotte area, about $380,000 in the southwest part, Cox Mill, newer community, and then around $360,000 in the closer you get to the northern part of Concord. Now, this is just, we're talking about averages. Obviously, it goes across the board. You have homes in the $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 price range. and plus in Concord. But as far as just averages, that gives you a good price range that the market has really shown this past year, and why there's some opportunities to be still close to driving distance to Uptown, all the things of greater Charlotte with the newer developments and breweries, and still take advantage of solid price points. Well, I hope this was helpful, giving you an overview of the Concord area, why it's one of the more popular areas in the greater Charlotte area. Actually, as I mentioned, the second largest city. People don't realize that when they're driving around, that Concord is such a popular, fast-growing area. Just up there in the northeast part of the Charlotte area that has its own airport, has a lot of things going on, and also some really reasonable prices for new homes as well as historic homes. I'm Steve Jarrell with the Longleaf Group here at eXp Realty. If you have any questions about what it's like living in the Charlotte area, definitely send us a message. Just click the link to schedule a one-on-one to go through what it's like living in Charlotte and areas just like Concord. With all that said, until next time, we will see you then.